Hey, hey, hey! Yo.
Hey guys, it's time for some more unpopular K-pop opinions, something I don't do very often and probably shouldn't do because it just makes people not like me. No, but seriously, these are literally just opinions. They're not even super duper thought out. So yeah, put yours in the comment section below. I might use them in a future video, so just leave loads. Just comment once, comment twice, comment 3 times. So my first one is kind of a big one. I think it is held by a couple of people. K-pop groups will never be taken seriously in the US, in UK, in Australia. And there is one reason for that. Boy bands and girl groups, I guess. We don't really call them girl bands. Essentially, there is just a culture within the UK and the US that boy bands are embarrassing things that essentially only appeal to little kids. There aren't really any boy bands or girl groups in the UK that are actually taken seriously. The closest group that I could talk about would be Little Mix, but they certainly do not have that big a demographic in terms of their audience, and they certainly aren't respected by, the mainstream British public. And I saw this especially with that Australian channel's response to BTS and stuff, in that they just don't take them seriously, and a lot of the comedians that were involved in that basically defended themselves by saying, look, they're a boy band. They're just there to take money out of kids' pockets, and that is why they will never be taken seriously, because that is people's view on them. It's really frustrating because they're completely ignoring some of the fantastic music these Korean boy bands and girl groups are producing. And I will fight tooth and nail for their respect, but it's something that they really struggle with. It's just the culture, and I don't see it really changing anytime soon. This one's a little bit harder to define, so I'm just going to be careful with how I phrase it. K-pop groups often don't perform well on stage. They just don't really seem to have much stage presence. They don't seem to really embody their music. When I watch live performances, what I want to see is essentially the character and personality of someone's music come through on their stage. If they are an aggressive rapper, then that's what I want to see on stage. I want to see big intensity and passion and anger. Sometimes I think K-pop groups are so heavily focused on dancing and the choreography that the actual music they're performing can sound mediocre in comparison to how they're performing, and often it also affects their vocals and their delivery. It often just creates a really poor live show, and I don't really like that, given that the tickets are like 120 quid sometimes. Does that make sense? Do you guys get that? Anyway, yeah. So the next one is actually K-pop group specific. So this is essentially about GOT7. I find that they have often disappointed me, especially their title tracks over the past couple years. Up until this year, 2019, I think 2019 with Spinning Top has been their best comeback ever. I genuinely think. I'm hoping this is sort of a new phase for GOT7. I found a lot of their music to be pretty dull, a little bit tepid at times, but this year, 2019, with Eclipse and such, I was just blown away with the increasing quality of their music, the slight experimentation that they've got going on. Really, so much more impressive. I really hope they continue on that vein of form, because I was getting a little bit bored of their music. Next, I just want to say, BTS actually haven't changed their music that much. I see so many people on Twitter talk about, oh, I like the old BTS, oh, I prefer their older music. But really, BTS's music hasn't changed that much. Certainly it changed from sort of the school love affair era with those really bland hip-hop instrumentals and really average raps. But their music over the past 4 years, pretty much since the HYYH era, hasn't changed really at all. That they generally stick to that fun electronic dance sound, and they often incorporate a different sound for their title track. With Idol, they brought in some Afrobeat inspiration. Blood, Sweat, Tears, it was more sort of contemporary R&B. But in general, they stick to electronic dance music. And I don't understand why everybody is talking like they've suddenly dramatically shifted their sound. They really haven't. Even their vocal delivery is the same sort of breathy, intense style that they've had going on for a while. They haven't changed. You guys are just being weird. SHINee and Super Junior still influence the K-pop industry sound-wise to this day. Their original fun disco dance pop is still so ingrained in the culture of the industry. It's so fantastic to hear that original glossy electronic dance music SHINee used when they debuted and their couple of comebacks after that, and see it like sort of redone in the industry these days. It's really, really nice to see, and it just actually goes to show how successful and popular SHINee were. And I also want to pin in Super Junior with them, since Super Junior was sort of like father figures to SHINee, and they often at times did it first. But those two hand in hand, I still feel so much presence within the industry, even if they don't necessarily get the numbers when they have their comebacks. And finally, the rest of Big Bang will struggle to shake the Seungri scandal. I really cannot see any of the other members. I'm talking about Taeyang, I'm talking about T.O.P, I'm talking about the other one. No, I'm joking, Daesung. GD, I can definitely see once he's back from the military just being completely separated from it because he was such like an independent star, but people like T.O.P and Taeyang are just associated with YG and Seungri, and I really just cannot see them really shaking off the tag. I don't see them being anywhere near as popular. I know Daesung, he actually has a bit of presence in Japan anyway, so he might be alright in Japan, but in Korea, I can't see many of them actually shaking off this label. I mean, we will see. People are in general quite forgiving of artists, but I mean, I struggle to believe that none of them knew what was going on personally. I mean, it certainly seems like YG knew fully what was going on in that scandal, so fuck him. And this one isn't such an unpopular opinion, but K-pop title tracks are often not good. I would say they're often the weakest aspect of a group's album. Sometimes, you know, title tracks are just so vibrant and fun, but they're often the safest song that a group will release. The songs are often so simple and to the bone. The songs are often so simple, and they seem like they've been through screen tests so many times, and they just feel like the safest possible choice that groups could have put for a title track. And I know this is mostly handled by the management in terms of which song to put forward for the title track, but they so often choose just the most boring or tepid of all the music that they've released on that particular album. But yeah, that really frustrates me when that happens, but oh well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave your unpopular opinions in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and this will be Gino signing out. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DylanGino and at Dylan.Gino, please.